How's it going there, everyone? Welcome to another video today. What we have for you today is basically two videos in one. First, starting off as an unboxing, and then later on in the video, it'll be a full review of the product that I am about to open up in this package over here. And it involves the iPhone SE that I had just unboxed recently on this channel over here. It's basically an accessory for the iPhone SE, which, as you can see, I have it right here already in the case, although using the original film protector that came with the phone pre-installed just to protect the screen from any scratches, along with the back over here. And what is that product? You might have seen it in the title, but does the title confirm what I'm actually unboxing over here? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Alright, so to start this off, let's go ahead and just flip this over, and we're gonna peel this tab off. Actually, let's try to cut this open instead. Okay, so here is the product itself, and looks like we got a little piece of paper in here. Alright, so that piece of paper was basically a letter from the seller themselves thanking me for purchasing from them. And what I have for you in this video today is, starting off as a case unboxing, which is the Switcheasy Tones for the iPhone 5, 5S, and SE. So as you just saw right here, I do have a case on my iPhone SE, which is an old OtterBox commuter series that I have, which is not in the best condition. It is broken, as you can see. That's why I have a piece of tape right here, and also on the top right here, this little flap was broken over here too. For the iPhone SE, I wanted a different style case, and Switcheasy products I've always felt was good in the past because I've had the Switcheasy capsule rebel for my iPhone 4, and that was an awesome case to have, and I still have that up to this day, although didn't use it for a while because of course I don't use the iPhone 4 very much, but it's a spare device that I have. So here is the front, which I believe this is a refresh version of the Switcheasy Tones because there was a difference with the first version along with the packaging. So this must be Switcheasy's newest packaging before they stopped making these due to the iPhone SE not selling from Apple anymore. As you can see on the side, there's nothing to it. On the back, you have some information about the features of the case along with what is included in regards to accessories. Of course, here is the other side of the case right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I'm assuming just from the looks of it, we just have to peel off the tape over here. And check that out. It just comes out very easily. So that is the back. Let's go ahead and take out the rest of this case. So I'm assuming this little piece of paper just comes right off. Yep. And here is the case itself along with the accessories. So let's take a look at the accessories first. And they're neatly packed in this little bag right here. So first things first is you have a screen protector, which Switcheasy in the past, they've always included two screen protectors, but I think with this occasion at the time, they've only included one on there, but at least it's better than nothing. And the screen shields are pretty decent from the ones I've used for the iPhone 4. Of course, you have a microfiber cleaning cloth, and you have a squeegee to work out the air bubbles on the screen shield that you're installing. Nothing else in this bag over here. Let's put these off to the side. And you have a little card that gives you instructions on how to go about installing the screen shield. So pretty self-explanatory right there. And there is a little piece of paper / cardboard in here. Let's see if I can get that out really quick. I got no nails, so it's a little bit tougher. Alright, paper comes out. So here is the Switcheasy Tones case. So as you can see, it is a somewhat hard rubber case, and on the middle right here, it's all plastic, as you can see. And at the top you have a cutout for your camera and LED flash. On the left side you have an opening for your vibrate switch, as well as coverings for the volume up and volume down buttons. Now, I say this is the second refresh because the first one never had these built-in covers for the headphone jack and the lightning port over here. However, this time they do, which I think is actually a better design. So that way you have the option of covering the ports without risking of losing those little connectors. So that's pretty neat. Of course, you have an opening for your speaker and microphone as well. And on the right side, it's completely covered because there's nothing to reveal on the right side of the iPhone. And on the top, you have a covering for your sleep wake button over here. Just from first impressions, the bottom part of the inside of the case has a rubber feel to it. But in the middle right here, it has a smooth finish to it. Might be plastic, but I don't think it's going to harm the phone one bit, because once it stays in there, it'll probably stay in there nice and snug. So let's go ahead and try installing it. And what I'm going to do first is just take it out of this case I have over here. And we'll also take the protectors off too. This part is broken, so we'll take some time for this to come off. Alright, there is my iPhone SE. Let's go ahead and just pop off the protectors right here, because most likely the case will fit better without these on there. Well, the back one at least. Plus, the back one is a little bit thicker. Just gonna give my phone a quick wipe. Although no fingerprints on the screen since I've got the device. But I'd rather be safe than be sorry. So there is my iPhone SE right there. As you can see, it's pretty clean. A little bit of dust right there, but the back shouldn't matter. Let's give the back a little wipe right here. Alright, and you guys ready to install this? Let's go ahead and get on with this here. So basically what you have to do is just line up the button side first, and the iPhone pretty much just drops in. Very similar to what you find in other cases like the Spec Candy Shell, for example. Just gonna make sure that the whole left side is lined up. Alright, just gonna push it down a little bit, and we should be able to just push this case in, push the phone in like so. Oops, a little bit flexing down here. And there we go. That's the iPhone SE inside of the Switcheasy Tones case. That's what it looks like on the front over here with the screen. And on the left side right here, you do have an opening for your vibrate switch. And let's go ahead and try out the volume buttons. Volume down, volume up, lock switch. Perfect. Very sensitive. And then of course you have the coverings for your headphone jack and your lightning connector. That's one of the top reasons why I got this case, other than like the included accessories, because there were like a couple other cases that have a very similar design but do not come with any accessories. And here is the cover for the lightning connector. Awesome. On the right side, as you can see, it was completely covered. And on the top, you see that there is a covering for the sleep wake button. And of course, here's the back. The camera is nicely cut out right there, so the camera and the LED flash fits inside. Of course, they have the little black ring around the camera and the LED flash itself over here to prevent like any issues with glare when using the LED flash. If we look at the front of the case right here, there is a lay on the table design. It just seems very small, but that's because it hovers above the glass minimally. There's basically, I want to say maybe 2 hairs above the glass, so you do have some lay on the table design to put your phone face down and not have a scratch on the desk right here. So what I'm going to do is use this case for a couple days, and we'll put in part 2 into this video, which is going to be a full review and my thoughts about the case. So stay tuned. Alright, so here is part 2 for this video, which is the review of the Switcheasy Tones for the iPhone 5, 5S, and the iPhone SE, which is what we are currently dealing with right here. As you can see on the back of the case, it has that two-tone look, the middle being darker while the top and bottom edges are green. So I've been using this case for a couple weeks since the initial video. However, I will say in my second week, towards the end of the second week, I started running into issues that led me to buy another case for this phone and start using that one that I liked better. The issue that I had with this case is that while it looks great, I just couldn't get a great feel to it, especially in the winter time with my hands being dry. And I actually dropped my phone a couple times. I hardly ever do that to my devices because I always take good care of my electronics. I always clean them once a while, and I hardly ever drop them. And I want to say with this case, it made it very easy for me to let out of my hand and drop, because I don't have a good grip when trying to handle this case, because this case is mostly plastic. While the edges right here, they are a little bit of a rubber material, it's still not enough for me to grip on it properly, because you have this smooth matte finish right here on the sides, because this is how you're mostly going to hold the phone, whether that's in your right hand or in your left hand like so, because obviously you're not going to hold the phone like this. That's only if you're like going to be watching movies, for example. The first time I dropped this, I was taking it out of my pocket. I normally carry two phones, my main phone being the Galaxy Note 9, and I had this in the same pocket, but it was inside a pocket that also had a secondary slot, you can call it, where this fit in there perfectly, so that way it doesn't move around. You'll normally find those in dress pants, for example. So upon me taking this out of my pocket, I accidentally let it come loose out of my hand, and it actually hit the ground. Now mind you, the ground that it hit, it was actually carpet. In my initial unboxing of this case, I specified that this had a lay on the table design, and it's minimal. As you can see, there isn't much protruding above the glass, but it is something, so that way when I do put my phone face down on the table, my screen's protected, so that way whenever I get notifications come in, someone happens to walk by and see my phone, they're not gonna see the notifications coming in. However, full disclaimer, I do have a full body protector installed on this phone, and let me go ahead and show you what that is. So to pop this case off, you're going to take off the port covers right here. Then you're going to take two thumbs, put them in each corner, and then try to push the iPhone out while your index and middle fingers on each hand are gripping onto the other side of the phone. So push it out. Phone actually accidentally went into vibrate, and as you can see, there's the iPhone right there. Now it went into vibrate because I was pushing on it a little too hard where it actually touched the vibrate switch, but other than that, it's not hurting it at all. So case is off. This is what I meant by the full body protector. If you'll notice on the camera, there's a little cutout right there. I do this with the majority of my electronics, even my Galaxy Note 9 for example. While this case is not meant to fit an iPhone with this body protector on the back, I like having cases that can at least accommodate the phone with that body protector decently. I love that on my Galaxy Note 8 with the iBlazing clear bumper case, because while it's not made for the Note 9 to sit inside the case with that body protector, you're going to notice some misalignment here and there, but the misalignment is not that bad where the case is unbearable to put your phone in. I want to say that having this protection on the iPhone and then slipping it inside this case at the same time did not give me the same satisfaction that I would find on other cases. Long story short, my whole point is I like cases that can accommodate a device that has just a little bit of more protection than what it was made for initially. So far, the only cases that I can find that are 100% guaranteed this will work without any issues are silicone cases. The problem with silicone cases is they're going to be very grippy within your pocket, and I do not like that style at all. I like something that is somewhat rubbery but not completely, and also have like smooth finishes somewhere on the case, whether that's a clear piece or maybe a matte finish, but as grippable as it can be. And this case, it was a little too small to accommodate this iPhone SE with a back protector on the back side of the phone. As far as having a screen shield, no problem whatsoever. And this screen shield, mind you, is the one that came with the Switcheasy Tones case. And Switcheasy screen shields are normally great and decent quality. Maybe not the best as what you would find in a professional screen shield, but they're better than nothing. They're pretty decent for what you get with the case. Now, the second time I dropped this phone while it was inside of this case, it was when I just went to grab it off the table, try to use it, and then all of a sudden, somehow I let the case loose out of my hand. Where this fell, it was actually inside of my house. The last place it landed was on carpet, but the first place that it hit was on an electric heater that we had sitting in the hallway, and this fell face down on one of the corners, like so. It was on this corner right here, because you'll actually see the mark on the case, which is right there. You can barely make it out due to the lighting of my video setup right here, but that is where the mark is at. And not only that, it also dinged up my screen protector right here. It left a little mark. As soon as I saw that, I got very nervous because I thought my screen cracked. So what I ended up doing is nervously taking the screen shield off, but only partial, not completely. And then I was paying attention to this part over here to see if that either comes off with the screen shield or if that was going to remain there on the screen itself. I was so happy to see that it was coming off with the screen shield. It basically just nicked the screen shield, and basically I just have to get a new one and replace it. But since this is my only protection for the screen now, I just put it back on there with the way it is. Yeah, I got some air bubbles over here. First time I did it, I had no air bubbles whatsoever until now when I peeled it off. But as you can see, this case was just not for me, unfortunately. I was a little disappointed to see that, but at the same time, I can't knock it off with me having that full body protector on there. However, that being said though, even if I didn't have the full body protector on here, like I said before, this case is hard to keep a grip on, and because of that, it's gonna cause me to drop my phone no matter what. I want to go back to when I first dropped the phone. When I first dropped the phone, it obviously fell face down onto carpet at my workplace. And I started looking around the iPhone and noticed that this part of my screen was actually popping out a little bit. So I was looking all over the phone just to inspect it a little bit more. You don't see it lifting. We're looking at this angle over here, and if we look at this angle, the glass is not popping out. Same thing with this side right here, the glass is not popping out, but until you look over here, you can see that the glass appears to be slightly peeled away from the digitizer, and that must have been caused due to this phone falling down on the ground when I attempted to take it out of my pocket. And as soon as I saw that, you know, that's when I started getting another case, and you'll see that case in another video that I'll have coming in the future. So that's when I started rethinking about the kind of case that I want for my iPhone SE, because as I stated before, this is basically used as my personal iPod Touch. And after this incident had occurred, that's when I realized if I'm going to be jogging outside and I'm going to have my iPhone SE with me to play music and then maybe use it for fitness tracking here and there, I'm going to want something that is going to protect the iPhone if in case in the event that I wound up dropping it and hit the ground. And I can assure you that this is not going to do that for me. I mean, it's a nice case. It's not too bulky. However, it's just not my kind of case, unfortunately, and I'll be keeping this one as a spare anyway because it was very cheap due to the amount that I paid for on Amazon. With this not being a brand new case out there, it's a pretty old case because this obviously is made for the older iPhone. But at the same time, it wasn't the kind of Switcheasy case that I liked back then. The one I liked back then was the Switcheasy Capsule Rebel for the iPhone 4 and 4S. I did a couple videos on this case a while back. This was an awesome case to use because I really liked the menacing look that it added to the back of the phone. And not only that, I felt very secure with this case on here. As you can see on the iPhone 4, it has great lay on the table design. It did come with port covers as well, but those are removable. This one's pretty nice because it's basically attached onto the case itself. The only thing is you got to be mindful of how you put your phone in here, because what you have to do is obviously line up the button side first and make sure that it's slid all the way in. And not only that, you want to be mindful of these port covers because these plug in directly into the port. So if you guys recall early in this video, the first time I tried to put this case on, it was bent up over here because this port cover was sitting underneath the phone because I smacked it. So you want to make sure that these are pretty much out on an angle, and then once you do that, push the phone down and then try to push it in on the other side. So push it down at the same time and then use your index finger on the back to slide the case on, and there you go, your iPhone is in. Plug these guys up and you are all set to go. You are, I want to say, scuff protected, because this is not going to survive in the fall. This will survive in the fall. The only thing that I have is it's cracked over here and it was cracked somewhere else too. I think that's the only part. And this is a pretty old case that I have. Like this case, I bought it back in, I want to say 2013. And this was a pretty old case back then. So the case is roughly 5 years old, 6 years old right now. I will say this is still my favorite case, and I wish that Switcheasy made cases like this for the iPhone 5, 5S, and now the SE. I didn't see any case that was very similar to this right here, not even the Switcheasy Odyssey, because I know with the Switcheasy Odyssey, that was more of a 2/3 piece case. That was for the iPhone 4 and 4S, and until they came out with the iPhone 5, then they made that a 1-piece case, which is not bad, but I kind of like the benefit of 2-piece cases because I always feel like they have a little bit more protection than they do with like a 1-piece case right here, because you don't notice this kind of lay on the table design until you get a case that has a little bit more protection on there. So I was a little disappointed to see that the Switcheasy Tones case was like this. The Switcheasy Tones case is basically for someone who just wants scuff protection and a case that looks decent. If you're looking for something that you want to be able to hold your phone onto and not worry about dropping it all the time, you may want to look elsewhere. And if you were in the same situation as me where you want a case that fits both your phone with some additional protection on there, this is not the case for you. And you'll start noticing it too, because over here you'll notice that it's not lined up perfectly, because you can see a little bit of the stainless steel that's on the side of the iPhone. Obviously, if you were to peel this off a little bit, you'll definitely see it for sure. But as you can see, the little antenna slit is poking out over there. Same thing with the bottom over here too. Once this falls on the corner on the screen and you have a screen protector, you'll want to double check to make sure that it's not on the actual screen itself and that it's just on the screen protector only. Other than that, on a 1 to 5 scale, I'd probably give this case a 3.5 due to those couple of draw points that I have. I'm not really recommending this case that much if you're looking for something that's full-blown protection. If you want full-blown protection, then you're going to want to look elsewhere, because while I do like the look of this better than the OtterBox Commuter series, and the way you install it is much better than that case, you're going to get a little bit more protection out of the OtterBox Commuter series. You just gotta be patient about like putting that case together onto the phone itself, because that process can be a little bit of a chore. It is a 2-piece design case, but it's not very easy to put on, especially if you want it with a piece where it's not lining up properly. However, there are certain things that I can't knock this case over because I'm kind of breaking the rules at the same time. I'm just saying that it's not for me. The main reasons why I knock off this case is due to the grippiness, the fact that it has minimal lay on the table design, that it's going to make it pretty minuscule and not that much protected if this thing were to fall. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review of the Switcheasy Tones for the iPhone 5, 5S, and SE. If you guys want to see more videos like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified on when we post a new video. If you guys like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out my description below for my social media links, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.